6 blind men find an elephant. Okay. Now, because all of these blind people are blind, they don't know what an elephant looks like. So they each pat around a different side of the elephant to figure out what it looks like. So one of them feels the elephant's ears and is like, well, the elephant is clearly like a fan. One of them feels the elephant's tail and is like, well, no, the elephant is like a rope. One of them feels the elephant's leg and it says, no, the elephant is kind of like a tree trunk. One of them feels the elephant's like body and is like, no, it's more like a wall. And then one of them feels the trunk and says, no, it's more like a snake. One of them feels the tusk and says, no, it's more like a spear. Now, individually, they are all fucking wrong. But then, at the end of the story, you sort of see this picture of an elephant made with like fan ears, spear tusks, snake trunk, wall, body, and all that stuff. And then you're like, okay, that doesn't look like an elephant, but it looks enough like an elephant.
Yeah.
That if you saw it from afar, you'd be like, oh, that's like a makeshift elephant.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is the positive way of looking at religions, where all together, if they all work together and just set aside their differences, their similarities would actually make the best concept of not only how to live, but also what the best idea of a higher power would be. However, naturally with humans, we love supremacy. We fucking love that shit. We always want to be top dogs, so we just end up saying, like, no, fuck you, our religion's better. And it's like, no, we all suck. We all collectively suck.
Yeah.
And I kind of, if I were to believe in any kind of, like, concept of a god, it would have to be the universe itself. The universe itself and all that dwell within it, that is God. We are God, and God is all around us. God is everything.
Yeah, like, it's... Because we're made up of energy, so it's just the energy that kind of binds the universe, because energy never dies, it just transfers.
Yeah. And, like, if that were the case, I'd be like, yes. But if God were to be technically the culmination of everything that has existed, past, present, and future, in the entire universe, people aren't going to accept that. But even though it makes the most sense, it makes more sense than anything else.
So, this news that I found today. So,
fuck it, I got a VPN.
It says that UK porn sites are going to be blocked for you to be entered, but it's only from July the 15th. But the reason is it's not blocked. It's more. You need to do like an age check to get in.
Okay.
Because they're saying that it's... Where's the line that really made me laugh? Adult content is currently far too easy for children to access online.
They're not wrong. They are not wrong. They are not wrong at all. Oh my god. Like, So when I used to like work as a teacher, I would literally have like some of my students saying the weirdest shit to me. And like, for instance, one of my students literally said to me, "Oh, sir, do you know what getting brain is?" And I'm just there like, listen, if I say yes, that's weird. If I say no, you're gonna think you have the upper hand. But at the same time, why are you asking me this? Why? And then, like, I feel like that is the biggest problem with kids having such an access to, like, sexual content, is that they don't realize, like, dude, don't talk to your teacher about this. Don't talk, like, we're supposed to be learning French. Like, no. Like,
it's not the right class.
It really isn't. But I also think, and this is my main criticism with this kind of, like, law to be imposed, is that what needs to be done with it is there needs to be like a really good system of teaching sexual education and sexual health to kids. Yeah. And from my experience,
mine as well, it was terrible.
Not just that, but also like working in education. No, like it is not done. And
I mean, I just think back to what I got in school. It was what I
get shitter.
It was terrible. They showed us a video. I think I remember.
Mm-hmm.
There was the one about there was a woman giving birth. I think we saw that. Mm-hmm. didn't really teach us about. They told us what a condom was. Told us about what's it called?
The pill,
contraception.
contraception.
And the pill and everything. But bar that, it was like, I think it was one class, and it was when I was in secondary school.
Yeah.
And that was all I got taught.
Yep. Okay, I will tell you, I will give you the exact reason for why it's so shit, and it's because legit teachers don't want to fuck with it. Like, teachers don't want that. And because I remember, like, my first teaching job was at a special ed school, and they needed to know it. Like, because, like, all of these kids, like, they had, like, learning disabilities, they had social disabilities, and, like, they needed it, like, explained to them, like, really clearly, more than anyone. And then I'm just there, like, and then as soon as, like, the teacher who I was working with mentioned it, I was like, I ain't doing it. I'm not like, even though I really need it to be done, I'm still like, no, that's awkward. It's so awkward.
Well, what about this, for example? You wasn't at Chocolate Poetry on Monday, was you?
Oh, no, I wasn't.
So on Monday, I performed my sex poem at Chocolate Poetry. And do you know what?
What?
Performing a sex poem in front of a room full of strangers and people that you know is actually somewhat really freeing.
I get that.
It kind of feels like you're naked on stage. Like, you feel naked anyway when you perform a poem, but
you have that realization of, oh, I'm just naked, and no one, like, people get it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I'm naked and everyone else in the room is naked, because sex is something that everyone can connect to, but I understand the kind of uncomfortability when...
Technical difficulties, children running.
That was such a child running activity and sound.
Yeah.
Nonsensical words were being said out loud.
Yeah. But, like, no, I totally get it, because, like, talking... Because I think the main thing, and at one of the schools I worked at, which I really, really, really respect them for doing, was they had, like, posters all over the school, like, literally all over the school, like, really hammering in, like, the importance of consent.
Yeah.
And for me, when it comes to sex ed, when I was growing up, we didn't have any of that. Yeah. But the fact that nowadays, in this generation, it's really being hammered in.
Yeah, it's something that we talk about, yeah.
That is really good.
But I think that's just, in general, even with talking about, like, the true crime things, it's like, watching, like, the R. Kelly documentary, I sat there and I was like, there's people who are R. Kelly's friends talking in this documentary, talking about these events and stuff like that, and they're like, you know, he had a bed in the studio, and I was like, but bro, you're talking about it like 20 years later in a documentary. Like, why weren't you talking at the time?
No, it's true.
You know?
It's true. I think ultimately it just boils down to one simple word: fear. Like, people are fucking cowards, and especially when you are, like, taking Terry Crews as an example, because he summarized it succinctly, but when you are black and in fact, let's fuck race. Yeah. Like, not even race, but when you are having a really important job and you're making a lot of money from it, like, you're working in the artistic realm.
Yeah.
Like, everything is really difficult. You have to basically be as squeaky clean, and just being associated with something unsavory is bad.
Yeah.
But what ends up making me really unhappy about it is just, like, I think more, because I've only seen I only see, like, snippets of it, but, like, I feel like there should have been more of an admission of, like, I, as R. Kelly's friend, really dropped the ball by not really, like, confronting him about this. Because, like, I'm not gonna lie, I have friends who've done haven't done, like, things like R. Kelly has, but even, like, mildly terrible things, I confront them about it. And even though I do it in a nice way and I do it in a passive way, I'm just there like, mate, this is not okay.
Yeah.
And I will remind them and shame them for it and be like, this is not okay.
I mean, you call your friends out usually.
Because it's, I don't know, like, I feel like it is, like, the cowardice needs to, needs to stop, and it is a big issue. But people don't want. People are really like averse to actually putting a stop to it.
The thing is that really annoys me the most is that I'm sure people knew.
Oh no, they did.
And that's the thing that annoys me the most. People, like, these things that are coming out of the woodwork about things that happen in Hollywood, especially.
They've been happening.
This has been happening for a while. I'm pretty
oh
sure.
no, definitely. Like, so the first time I ever got exposed to like just how bad it is was actually from Elijah Wood.
Oh, okay.
Because there was this documentary. It was either a documentary or an interview. But basically, Elijah Wood was talking about just how much sexual abuse he went through as a child actor, and it was awful, like really awful. He was saying stuff like, "You literally got passed around." And also, one of the producers of X-Men 2 was like a full-on molester. And like the problem was like people knew, but one, they like usually, because the people who they abused were people with really low standing, so they didn't have as much influence, so their word meant fuck all. Yeah. But also all of their friends are like, listen, I am trying to get cozy up with this person who has all this power, and if I expose them, that means I end up having to put my neck on the line. Yeah. And it works, and it's not, in fact, even with the, fuck what I said earlier about like it even being in the artistic realm, in every realm. Yeah. Like, a person I know works for a company, and like I have to be like really anonymous with it because like if any, like they've been really clear like I'm not allowed to like talk about this, but like they work for a company who's basically making other pharmaceutical companies a lot of money. Okay. But like these pharmaceutical companies are not passing on any of these savings to the people, and they make shit like insulin, which is like necessary. But like the thing is, if she blew the whistle and said like, "Hey, you guys are saving millions with our company," but like, I don't know, you're not passing on the savings. Like it's a madness. Yeah, it's a madness. I will keep it at that. That was vague enough, right?
Yeah,
that
was very vague. Good. Yeah. It's like Adam Ruins Everything. That is the name of the show.
Yes. Adam Ruins Everything is the tits.
I was trying to figure out the name of that show on the weekend, and I couldn't think of the name, and it's just come back to me now. So Adam Ruins Everything. Do you know? Have you seen the episode about the glasses?
No.
So basically, there's an episode about the glasses where he tells us that basically there's one company that owns the whole market.
Said the same thing, like, yeah.
Yeah, there's...
I saw an episode where he said the same thing about mattresses, and I'm like, that makes so much sense now.
And it's like, it's even a thing like back, he said this best story that he told was about Oakleys. Do you remember Oakleys back in the day? Like, they used to be... Like, when they first came out, it used to be for the everyday man because it was just a young, up-and-coming company, and they started posting up in different shops and stuff like that. But obviously, this big conglomerate tried to buy them out. And they were like, and they were like, no, we don't want to sell, we're a good company, we just want to do this glasses thing ourselves. What the big conglomerate ended up doing was... Because they own the whole market, all the shops and everything, they just stopped Oakley's being able to be sold in their shops.
Shit.
And then obviously the company went bust. They bought out the company then, and then resold Oakley's as these super expensive, fashionable glasses. So I don't know, if you look in like the early 90s, all the celebrities are wearing Oakley's and stuff like that.
Like, wow. Because I've that is really shitty, but at the same time, because I've also found out, I've been researching a lot about Amazon, because I'm really trying to wean myself off Amazon.
Why?
God,
great.
Amazon is dope. I mean, like, Amazon is really convenient. Yeah. It's so convenient. Yeah. But so evil. So evil.
Hey, man, Jeff Bezos is a power man.
Man, fuck Jeff Bezos. Man, fuck him. Fuck him. Bun him. I hope his wife takes more money. I hope she does. I hope she takes everything.
I mean, they're kind of geniuses, personally, I believe. Like,
it's not... I wouldn't call it as much of a genius move as much as it is and I'm glad that you've seen It's Always Sunny, is more like the tactics that